All right, guys. So I'm sitting here today with Matt Blanton. Matt is a great friend of mine. Also, someone I've gotten to coach prior to this. But Matt, I want to welcome you today and just say thank you for being here. And if you don't mind, could you just do a brief intro of who you are, where you're from, and what you do?
Matt Blandon, I started about 10 years ago in the printing industry, was doing print marketing, built a company from the ground up. And in that process, over 6 years, built it to a point where I decided to exit. I had a vendor buy me out. And what I realized in that process was that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. It wasn't the industry I was interested in. And I'm a fanatic about health. I've been in CrossFit for about 11 years, and we've been doing naturopathic medicine, not only personally, but for my family, and been an advocate for it. And so this was a journey towards health. So we bought a gym in 16, bought another gym in 17, and just been on this health journey and wanted to get into more of a medical side. But what I found was more of a side that was needed in coaching entrepreneurs. So in that experience, finding myself in a place where I wanted to help other entrepreneurs with their health because they spent all their time and energy building businesses. I mean, just generally not sleeping, not eating well, and putting everything into their employees and into their business and not leaving anything for their families or for themselves. So there's a demographic that I wanted to serve. And that's what basically put me in this place where I wanted to launch into working with Jesse, with you, inside of building my own business and helping this demographic. So that's basically it in a nutshell. I've got a wife that I've been with for almost 18 years now, married almost 13 years. We've got two beautiful girls that are 10 and 6 and almost 7. And we live in Scottsdale, Arizona. Been here since '04, and just enjoy this new life that started.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So basically, Matt is a high performance coach who coaches you, in your entire life. But Matt came to me, I think it's been about what, 60 days ago, close to 2 months ago. And he, was talking about, hey, I want to launch, this coaching business. I'm ready to do this thing. And so really what I want to get into, man, is what was that like prior to you launching this business? I know you were kind of new in doing it, but like, what were some things you were struggling with in that process?
So the hardest part for me was just getting started. I think with my personality, being a lot more cerebral, focusing on details and getting caught up in that type of stuff, moving into a place where I had to launch a business was difficult. So I'm analytically looking at each step that's involved. Okay, I've got to get a brand built. I've got to start a website. I've got to get my funnels going. I got to build the landing pages. I've got all this shit I got to build, and it's almost paralyzing jumping into that. And so as I'm looking at this, it's daunting. But when I came across Jesse, what you had put together, it seemed so simple. Like it was like, fuck, this makes sense. So for me, in looking at this, I was caught up in all the details that had to get done and the things that had to get done. But what I was missing, hey, there's an easier way to get this done and off the ground. And when we got started, it was in the matter of a week or two where I had pretty much all this stuff ready to rock. And I already had a client that came right out of that, for almost 15K, and then got another one. And so this process has been amazing because it got me out of that paralysis state into a place of action immediately. And that's really all I needed. Like I just needed to see the sight line of where I was going and how to get there. And I'm off to the races.
Sure. And, in doing that, like when you start something like this that's new, everybody's telling you, hey, you need a funnel, you need to have a website, you need to have a logo, you need to have like your own name. I remember you even coming on, you're like, dude, I don't even have my name yet. I'm like, well, you have your name. Let's just focus on that. But I think what happens a lot of times, what causes us to get paralyzed is, like you said, it's not having, your website. It's people telling you everything that you need because that's either what their path was or that's what they used. and that's what they always relate it back to is their success. And I think the cool thing is to watch you take, hey, I can do a system. If you just teach me the system, I can implement it and do that. And that's a really simple process. But how long have you wanted to launch this business and kind of held yourself back because of, these fine details and what you felt like you had to have before you did it?
Yeah. So it was probably at least 6 months. I'd say 6, 8 months where I truly was ready to get this thing off the ground. But I have two other businesses as well. And so in that process, while I was distracted over there, I still had space. I still had time and energy that I could put towards this. But it was like, I've got to build this, and that's going to take time. I got to find these relationships. Okay, who's going to be the designer? Now I've got to interview designers. Am I going to hire somebody, or I'm going to do it myself to build out the funnels? Like, I've got to set up the website. There's all these steps that I had perceived that were going to need to be taken. And it was so much easier just to kind of go this route. But it's really the influencers and the people that I'm surrounded with that were like, okay, you got to have the funnels, you got to have the site, you got to have all these things. In the meantime, just realizing like I can use my own brand, my own name, and just roll with that. If I feel like creating something else, great, I can. But otherwise, I'm not going to let things get in the way of me producing. And the methodology and the systematic approach of this made clear sense for me to follow. It was just so easy and fundamental. It was like, okay, knock this out, go, knock this out, go, build, learn, build over and over again, test it, tweak, and then go. Like, it was so easy to go through the process.
Yeah, so, I know you've worked with, business coaches and stuff like this in the past. And I'm not going to name names. I think, no matter who we work with, whether it was a good experience, bad experience, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it moves us forward into the next thing. But what's been the difference in what we're doing here versus maybe some other business stuff that you've had before?
A lot of times it's the content that is actionable. So this is not theoretical. This is not just theory by itself. It's not philosophy by itself, which in other programs I've gotten, it's not the deliverables that I see here. So it's the clear, simple process of going through this stuff step by step. And that's just not what I find in other programs. They have tools, they have resources, they have guidelines, they have philosophy and theory, but the actual steps of exactly what I'm following is not there. And this piece of what I'm building is so paramount that it allowed me to probably save 6, 8, 10 months off of the process if I would have gone another way, plus tens of thousands of dollars. So it's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like just so we know too, is like prior to you coming on this program, how much were you posting on Facebook? Like how active were you on Facebook?
At least once a month.
Okay, so you're posting like one thing a month, kind of random.
Picture or something.
And
Yeah.
how much engagement were you getting?
Maybe, 30, 40, 50 likes or something.
Okay. And,
Comments.
and I think I remember you jumping in the program and saying, "Hey, listen, like somebody said just start doing a video every day." And that was like your business advice was like, "Oh, just start doing a video every day." So knowing that then to now, like what has shifted in you for that? Just even thinking about posting, once a month to doing videos daily to now where you're getting all kinds of engagement in your content. What has that been like?
So the difference is that I have purpose behind it. It's not just random thoughts that I'm throwing out. Like, there's clear direction, there's a layout and process of how I put stuff out. And it's got to a point now where it's exciting. Like, I have an idea, I'm like, cool, that ties in here and that fits with my, 7-day, 10-day plan. So that's the exciting part, is I get to take each piece of this and break it down and put it in. And it doesn't just have to be, hey, I'm going to do a live and just talk about a particular topic. I've got a topic planned for a certain day. And then if I want to do something else, cool, I'll do that too. And then I can build other things around it to make it more holistic and more powerful. But the point of it is that I get to have a little bit more fun with it, have more of my personality into it, and start to really curate and dial in this conversation with my target audience that I wouldn't have done before. I would have just like had a subject and talked and just hoped that somebody would have shown up and connected with it. There wouldn't have been a path.
Sure. Yeah, that's awesome. So, you went from, hey, knowing I want to coach, not knowing specifically, hey, how am I actually going to pull this off when I get a client? What was that process like for you from when you get in the program, all of a sudden you build your offer, and then now you have an actual scalable model? Like, how was that process for you?
So the first probably week and 10 days, it was just the digesting of content and then getting into at least one actionable step per day, which was my post per day. After that, it was okay, add the next thing, add the next thing, add the next thing. And that's the difference of me working with a different coach before is I was left to go off and do this work, but I'm starting something brand new. I like having this roadmap that I can go through. And so it came together so quickly. In a couple of weeks, I had pretty much the foundational pieces built out, and then I was starting to stack on top of it. So getting the rhythm in, getting, the plan of how I was going to put things together, it started to flow so much easier. So with that, I mean, the content is really starting to become a lot more fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And then, let me ask you this. So, we have 3 calls a week, but as far as like support and accountability in the group, is that what's something about that that maybe was unexpected that you didn't realize when you were signing up what you were getting?
Celebration. I mean, just seeing other people have successes so that there's, the group that we're a part of, it's exciting. Like the connection with the people and then seeing them get wins consistently it's every day that there's some win that comes through. But it's not just the wins that get celebrated. It's also the idea that there's new things that are coming through. It's like, oh, I see how you did that. Let me take that and put it over here and use it for mine. So there's stuff that I'm seeing that they're doing that I'm able to repurpose for my own stuff. And so I'm getting new ideas. I'm getting resources of people that are in completely different industries that I can draw from. And I can take their tools and some of the things they're doing and repurpose it into my own stuff. So it amplifies my results because I'm taking the power of an entire unit and putting that into what I'm doing.
Okay, good. Is there like an unexpected result you're getting from the weekly calls and things like that that you didn't realize you were going to get?
So yeah, and the weekly calls, they're divided up with different purpose behind them, but inside of that, it's a place where I get to come in and kind of unload. Like, all right, here's where I'm at, and here's where I want to go, and we just kind of start to close that gap. And I find that very helpful. And then working on specifics. If we're talking about subjects, we're talking about things that are inside the work that we're currently doing. How do we fix this, tweak it, update it, and then get it back out? So constant improvement. And so that it's the speed of execution, and that feedback loop is huge. So if I bring something to the table on a Wednesday, I can get that feedback and then I go to immediately put it into work. So the connection with everybody's great, but I love the closing of that feedback loop anytime I have questions.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So, results so far in the program, what would you say has been your biggest result?
So probably done about 27,000 in business so far. I've got multiple calls booked, probably about 10 or 12 booked for new opportunities, but it's truly just the foundation that I built thus far. So the one thing that's was surprising to me is, the package that I built, it it going for that ask initially for the first couple of people, it was like, man, what are they going to say? And it was so easy because they were just waiting for me to get it out so that they could say yes. So through the process, it was just validation. It was validation that I was doing the right thing. What I was presenting was what they were looking for, and I was talking to the right people. And so now it just gets easier and easier to have that conversation with the correct person.
Okay, awesome, man. So, let me ask you this: what would you tell someone who was on the fence with possibly joining this program?
So for somebody that's on the fence, I mean, the idea is speed of execution for me. Like, what can I invest in so that I can increase the time that decrease the time that it takes in order to get shit done? Like, I want to move as fast as possible. So if I can invest in a system, I can invest in a program or something like that, I'm going to do it. because the result is important to me, and how to get there, that's what I'm open to. So if there's a program or system, I'll invest in it so that I can make sure that I get what I want. So that's ultimately, if you want something that's like this to connect with your target audience and you're tired of the same old stuff that you've been fed, which is click funnels and everything else, which is what everybody else is doing, there's a better way. And there's a better group of people connected here. And this isn't just about business, there's other things that fall into play. So everything gets corrected and looked at to a point where now you can move forward quickly.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate that. Hey, is there any last words that you want to say or that you would give anybody?
I think in general, it's just getting outside of your comfort zone. I know that's so abused as far as a statement, but ultimately it's like step into something that's unknown so you can find something that is has a big impact for you, your family, and those around you. I mean, there's somebody waiting for what you have and your messaging and the way that you're presenting it that is waiting for you to launch. They're waiting for you to get your message out, and they're not going to find you inside a sponsored ad. They're waiting for you, not just your business. They want to connect with you. So if there's anything, that I can say, it's find that thing to launch and get out so that you can help people.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate you being, on this interview. Not only that, but just being inside the Habit-Based Lifestyle Business Accelerator program. And dude, super proud of what you've done so far, and then what I know you're going to be doing in the coming months.
Awesome. Thank you.
So